This is Matt for Into Boxing. We're back and we're here with super flyweight Lauren Parker. Lauren, you're here to support Ebanie Bridges. You've been in camp with her, you've been sparring. But first off, how was your trip up here? I know you've come for a few hours away.
Yeah, so we're from Hertfordshire, so I think it took just under 3 hours to get here, but quite a nice drive to be fair. Just sat back, chilled, had a Starbucks and that on the way, and yeah, generally all good.
Weather's not looking bad, is it either? I'm not joking. I mean, I'm from Huddersfield, but you don't really see this weather, not in April anyway. I mean, well, end of March. You don't have to build up to June, so it's going to be a good day. Yeah, so look, talk to us about sparring Ebanie and how that came about. She's preparing for a world title fight, a second one. Did she get in touch with you? You get in touch with her? How's this come about?
So basically, yeah, I found out that she was in the UK and that she was training with Mark and Jimmy Tibbs, and my coach Paul Day knows...
Just picking this back up now, Lauren Parker, a slight technical fault with the light, but yeah, so you talked about your coach knows Jimmy Tibbs from back in the day, got in touch about sparring Ebanie.
Yeah, so obviously I knew that she was in the UK, and then the links with Jimmy and Mark, and to be honest, I just jumped on it really. I was like, Paul, can you message Mark and see if we can get that arranged? Because I think prior to that, I'd messaged Ebanie a couple of times saying, can we get some sparring in? And she was like, yeah, but it just never really seemed to sort of work out. But yeah, as soon as he got in contact with him, they were straight on it, and we arranged it. So yeah, it was great.
How many rounds have you shared together then? Because I saw you on a few pictures, so I assume you've been in camp and doing a little bit with her.
Yeah, so I think in total it's been about 7 weeks maybe, and then
bloody hell.
Yeah, 7 weeks of sparring. Sometimes we've had like 2 spars, sometimes we've just had the one, and obviously she's been mixing it with other people as well. In terms of how many rounds, I don't know, but we've been pretty much doing 8 to 10 rounders each time we've met. So it's been tough, but good.
I think 7 weeks says enough. You've done a fair few rounds. What do you make of her then, and how she's looking in camp? Obviously without divulging too much, but obviously she looks in good shape, looks ready to go. You think she'll do the business Saturday?
Oh, I have 100% faith in her. You know, I think she's actually a very, very good boxer, and I know a lot of people might put her down or whatever, and I've got their own opinions of her, but I think from personally meeting her, sharing the ring with her, I've got a completely different opinion to most people. I think as the camp's gone on, and naturally correct as well, that she's progressing each time. The things that she's been working on with Mark and Jimmy in the gym, she's been trying to put that into the ring, and that's been evident as I've sparred, because I've noticed small changes and stuff as she's got in each time, and just brought a challenge every time that we've sparred really. But equally at the same time, I've upped my game each time, and yeah, it's just made for really, really good sparring. So.
What do you make of her impact on women's boxing? So obviously she's come into the sport sort of early 30s, I think, and now she's mid 30s. What do you make of what she's done in such a short space of time? Is she a good example, maybe a good role model for people who are questioning whether they should get into it or not? Because it's not just becoming women's boxing anymore; it's becoming that mainstream. It's just boxing, and it's brilliant fights.
I mean, yeah, I think she's been doing it like 5 years, and then obviously with the impact of COVID and stuff. So yeah, in terms of her boxing experience, when you compare it to some of the others out there that have had massive amateur backgrounds, I think yeah, she's definitely a great role model for anyone that wants to maybe start that little bit late, to prove that, you know what, if you put yourself out there and you graft and you work, then it all pays off. Like I've always said, that hard work pays off, and I think yeah, she's a true example of that, and she's getting better and better each time she boxes and she fights, and she's really putting herself out there and proving that she belongs here, you know.
How does she win the fight Saturday night? I think it was Enzo Macronelli. I spoke to him in Cardiff, and he says that he thinks, and this isn't him speaking as her friend, that she'll be the first person to stop Cecilia Roman. She thinks she'll win this fight by knockout. Do you share similar feelings, or do you just think either way she'll get the win?
I do believe she's going to get the win. I think it's going to be a tough fight, as we all know. Great champion in Cecilia Roman. Do you know what? I'm going to agree with that, because I've taken the punches from her, and she can definitely load up and punch, and she lives up to her name, Blonde Bomber. So Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think she might stop it, and actually, I actually genuinely believe that it could be quite early on, maybe around like 4-3, maybe. I don't know.
Because Cecilia Roman, she's a bit of an unknown commodity over here. When you look at her record, I think she's the longest reigning champion in that division with that IBF belt. But she comes over here a bit known to us, maybe some of the fans. But it's really interesting, and for Ebanie to achieve that in such a short space of time, it'll be a big achievement. But look, let's talk about you. So I believe you said you're 7 fights deep into your career.
I am, yes.
You're fighting at Superfly. You've got a show coming up at the end of April, is it?
That's correct, 29th of April. Yes.
29th
of April. That'll be in Sheffield on the Unified Promotions card.
Yeah.
So it's a new thing. The promoter is Susanna Schofield, and basically just to help really promote women in the sport. So yeah, that's a nice thing to be a part of, really. So yeah, that'll be my second pro fight with them. Had a good fight last time out, got my knockout in the second round. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting out there and doing it again, because I've been training hard, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. Is it for you? Is it about not necessarily modelling yourself off looking at other people, but is it for you looking at, right, how do I get to the Matchroom shows, the Warren shows, these big platforms to get your name out there? Are you sort of now looking at, obviously you get this fight and where's my direction? How am I planning on getting there? Is that the way you look at things? Yeah,
I mean, obviously we all want to get to the top, don't we? And I feel for so long like I've been cooking slowly in the background, and I think my debut with Unified Promotions, I kind of made a statement with that first fight back, especially after 2 years with COVID. I think now going forward, now I know that I'm capable of doing that. It's about, okay, you know your worth, you know what you're capable of. You've got to just take them steps each time. And yeah, Matchroom shows, or any big promoter out there is the ultimate goal, I would say. So yeah, for me it is about how can we push on, and get to these stages.
What's the ultimate goal for you? Is it to be biggest fight for the most money, or is that just or is it to have your hand raised as world champion? What in your head do you see as, when I look back? So I always find it interesting because everyone gives me sort of similar or different answers. Yeah. When you look back and go, you know what, I was pressing a lot, so that's what I achieved. What do you want to say?
Yeah. To be honest, if I go back years ago, even being a pro boxer was like not even in my sights, really. So it's really strange. Yeah. And then obviously as you go along and you start, I've achieved that. I've achieved that. Okay, I've done well in the amateurs. Now I'm pro. Oh, now you've done that. Now you've got a knockout. It's like the gradual steps that you take. So for me, absolutely, I want to be a world champion one day. That is the ultimate goal now, because as time's gone on, now I believe in my ability. I know what I'm capable of, and I genuinely do think that I can one day achieve that.
You mentioned there, you want always to be a pro boxer. What was your path other than boxing? What were you doing?
Well, it's always kind of been boxing since the age of, say, maybe 16, 18. But it was more to do well in the amateurs, I would say. I didn't really know anything about the pro game, and I think mainly like that's improved more recently. More women coming through, so it's highlighted actually what's on offer for females in the pro game. But it was always to try and succeed and potentially get on Team GB. That didn't work out. I tried my best, but yeah, you take different paths in life, and you know what, I'm actually really pleased that I've gone down this path, and potentially what opportunities lie ahead for me. And yeah, I want to take them all.
Yeah, 100%, and especially now, I take it. For you, will you be more motivated, more ambitious when you see the likes of Taylor, Serrano headlining in New York? I mean, 5-6 years ago would have been a far cry from seeing maybe an all-in headline on a big show, let alone in New York, and not even in the theatre arena, in the big arena where it'll be 20,000 deep. Because you look at that and you see Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, you look at that and just think, right, it 100% can be done. Let's fucking push it.
Yeah, literally seconding what you just said, going back, like I said as well, I didn't even know anything about pro boxing. There wasn't really any female, especially like the English girls that we all follow, especially from like the Olympics and stuff. They weren't doing that, so it was kind of like, well, I don't know, what does a pro game hold for me? Yeah. But as we've gone on, and these females, are pushing forward, and they're getting world titles, and unifying the division and that sort of thing, it just makes you realise that wow, there are opportunities out there for us, and it's just really, really inspiring. So yeah, that's given me the drive to want to push on with my career and hopefully take it as far as I can.
Just before we go then, can you give everyone your socials, your plugs, so that they can follow you on this journey, because I think it'll be an interesting one, especially if you back out so soon at end of April. So you got Instagram and your Facebook and all that.
Yeah, so Facebook and Instagram is sort of like my main thing, and that is Lauren Parker Boxer. And also I'm on Twitter, but not so much, but that is L Parker Boxer, I think, yeah.
Get on Twitter, get engaging.
That's it, get engaged, follow the journey, remember the name. And also, the best is yet to come.
I mean, that's an ideal thumbnail for the YouTube clip.
There you go.
Absolutely. Lauren Parker, thanks for talking to Into Boxing. Appreciate your time, and fingers crossed we can catch up at either your next fight night or one down the road.
Definitely, and thank you for having me on.
Anytime.